Good evening, students. Hope you all are doing good. Today we are doing topic good and bad conductors of heat from your chapter heat, right? We have done half chapter where we have done the definition of heat, right? And we have done different thermometers, that is Kelvin scale, Celsius scale and Fahrenheit scale, right? That we have done. And we have done about the expansions of solids and liquids, right? And what are the effects of heat, that we have already done in our last class, right? So today we will start with good and bad conductors of heat. What are good and bad conductors of heat, that I will explain it to you today, right? So from the name it suggests good conductor. Good conductors are those conductors from which heat pass easily, right? From which heat pass easily, or the materials or the substance that conduct heat very fast are called good conductors of heat, right? For example, our utensils that we use in the kitchen, right, they become hot, right? So they are called good conductor of heat. For example, silver, iron, copper, aluminium, all these things are metals. So metals are good conductor of heat, right? So metals are good conductor of heat. Clear? Now next is your bad conductor of heat. Materials that do not conduct or transfer heat easily are called bad conductors of heat, or they are called insulators, right? They are called insulator from which heat doesn't pass. They are called insulators. Example is wood and plastic. Example is wood and plastic. They are bad conductors of heat or insulator. You must have seen that in our utensils. In our utensils, the hands of the utensils, right? The hands of the utensil, or the handles of the utensil, they are mostly formed of wood or plastic, right? Mostly formed of wood or plastic. Why? Because they are bad conductor of heat. ठीक है, वहां से हम उसको पकड़ते हैं, राइट? अगर वो हॉट होगा तो हम वी आर नॉट एबल टू हम उसको पकड़ नहीं सकते हैं, राइट? सो दे आर फॉर्म्ड ऑफ वुड एंड प्लास्टिक. व्हाई? बिकॉज हीट डजंट पास थ्रू देम, राइट? सो दे आर बैड कंडक्टर ऑफ heat. Now the behavior, that is good conductor and bad conductor, is explained by a process of conduction. Explained by a process of conduction. Why the metals or why some substance behave like good or why some substance behave like bad conductor of heat. This nature is explained by the process of conduction, right? So as the name suggests, conductions mean transfer, right? Transfer of heat from a hot object to a cold object, right? Suppose we have a hot beaker in front of us or a hot utensil in front of us, and you touch that utensil and you will feel that heat. That means the heat transfer from that utensil to your hand, right? So that process is called conduction. So conduction is the transfer of heat between substance that are in direct contact with each other, right? किसी को fever होता है, ठीक है? When you touch that person, you also feel warm or hot, ठीक है? That process, the transfer of heat from hot body to cold body, is called conduction, right? So why they are good or bad conductor of heat? Due to conduction. If the conduction process is very fast, that means that substance behave as good conductor, right? If the conduction process is very very slow or negligible, that means they are bad conductor of heat, right? For example, if you touch a hot object, the heat is conducted by physical contact with your skin. That means heat is transferred from hot body to cold body. That we already discussed about it, right? So now we studied about the applications of good and bad conductor. Before this, I want to explain it to you that conduction process is very fast in case of solids, right? In case of solid becomes in why it is fast in solid? Because in solid particles are very close to each other, and the heat transfer take place very fast in solid. Liquid and gas conduction process is little slower than solid. Why? Because the particles are far away from each other, so they are not able to conduct the heat very fast. Now we are doing with the applications of good and bad conductors of heat. And you have seen that are cooking utensils. ठीक है, cooking utensils, कढ़ाई होती है, utensils होते हैं, चाय का बर्तन होता है. All those utensils are good conductor of heat. Why? They heat up very fast, right? Why? Because they are formed of metals. So metals are good conductor of heat, right? Boilers, or for example you must have used iron press, यूज़ करते हो कपड़ों को प्रेस करने के लिए. इलेक्ट्रिक आयरन और इलेक्ट्रिक आयरन बेस जिससे प्रेस करते हैं is formed of steel. Steel is a metal, so steel conduct heat very easily and it become hot, and with the help of iron we press or we iron so many clothes. Next is mercury. As you know that mercury is an exceptional metal that is liquid at room temperature. As you know that in all the thermometer mercury is there, right? And when you when the temperature, or when you put that thermometer in a glass full of hot water, the mercury will rise in that thermometer. So mercury is a good conductor of heat and it expand by absorbing heat, right? So the handles of the kettles and utensils are made up of bad conductor of heat, that I already told you. The handles are formed of wood or plastic and they are insulators, so we are comfortable to hold these handles. Next is, as you know that in winters we wear woolen clothes, right? What is the rule of woolen clothes? Well, what happened, woolens are bad conductor of heat, means it doesn't allow our body's temperature to move out of our body. हमारी बॉडी के टेम्परेचर को अंदर ही रखते हैं, उसको बाहर नहीं spread करने देते. So woolen clothes are bad conductor of heat. They do not allow heat to flow outside from the body, right? As you know that in cold countries or in wildlife where there is very low temperature, mostly animals protect themselves from their hair or fur, right? So the hair and fur of animals are bad conductor of heat. They means, for example, in our case also, the hairs are the bad conductor of heat. That doesn't allow the heat of our body to pass through the body. ठीक है, it keeps the body temperature normal, right? Next, some more applications are there, like building materials like brick, mud, grass are bad conductor of heat, right? जो घर की दीवारें होती हैं वो घर को वार्म करने में हेल्प करती हैं सर्दियों में, ठीक है, गर्मियों में ठंडा करने में हेल्प करती हैं. सो दे आर बैड कंडक्टर ऑफ हीट, राइट? सो as you have seen that for example vehicles that carry petrol or diesel with them, they covered the petrol and diesel with an insulator, ताकि पेट्रोल और डीजल को आग ना लगे, ठीक है ना. तो इंसुलेटर रखा होता है उसके ऊपर, या तो वुडन का बॉक्स रखा होगा, राइट? समटाइम प्लास्टिक के, मोस्टली प्लास्टिक के अंदर ही कैरी होते हैं केरोसिन एंड डीजल्स, सो दैट डजंट अलाउ टू कैच फायर, ठीक है. सो these are the applications of good and bad conductor of heat, right? Till today we have done about good and bad conductor and applications of good and bad conductors of heat, right? And hope you understand this part. Whatever problems you will have, then we will discuss it in the Zoom class. Thank you so much.